Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is episode 8 of the Uncensored Anime Podcast, where we like to provide uncensored takes of the anime that we are watching, which this week is Dragon's Dogma Dookie Sandwich.
Woo.
And Vinland Saga, which is pretty good.
Pretty good.
And I liked it. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
And we have, you may notice that there are 4 squares today. There is a 4th face joining us today. I'd like to welcome our second guest on the Uncensored Anime Podcast, LissyMeYow. I forgot your name. Sorry.
No,
LissyMeYow. So Alyssa,
aka my real name. I don't really care.
Alyssa, aka LissyMeYow. I wanted to do like an AKA thing. So Alyssa, aka LissyMeYow, is joining us this week as our special guest. LissyMeYow, on our first guest episode, we asked Mikey his top 3 anime. So why don't you go ahead, tell us a little about yourself and your top 3 anime.
Let's do it. Alyssa,
put you on the spot, girl.
The time is now, babe.
Oh no, I'm under pressure. Pixie's in the room now, and I had to look up on my anime list that my top 3. I know Pixie.
You got it.
So I would say my top 3. I think Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is definitely up there. I love Full Metal. I think it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. Really great characters, a lot of great development. Animation is amazing, and I think it really holds up over time too. So that's a good one.
Yep.
I think Yuri on Ice is also another impressive one. I think it's kind of slept on. I think it's kind of slept on, honestly. But yeah, I think it would be a good one for you guys to review, just because there's
history.
I don't know if that was helpful.
Born to make history.
Sounds just like that.
So,
thanks for that, Jerry.
Yeah, that's exactly how it goes.
Yep.
And then I would say my last one. I know y'all already did a JoJo's episode. Well, part 1 and 2.
Part
one
1 and 2. A lot of other parts to get over.
Oh my god, I just love JoJo's so much. Like every time I think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, when's the next part coming out? It's just so exciting. It's so weird too, but adaptation is just awesome.
Yes,
so,
Alyssa, I was supposed to watch only parts 1 and 2, and I watched parts 1 and 2, finished part 3, and I'm about to finish part 4.
Oh my
hell
god,
yeah,
my man!
I'm obsessed. It's so.
Are you ready for part 5?
Yeah, David,
are you even ready for part 5?
Oh, Golden Wind!
It does some stuff. It does some stuff.
I'm excited.
It's pretty great.
David is ready to join Passione. He is ready to be a part of the fam.
I'm so excited.
I'm
really excited for part 6.
Oh, me too. I think that was going to be so. Well, 7 is Steel Ball Run or 6 Steel Ball Run, Ken?
7
is Steel Ball Run. 6 is Stone Ocean.
Fuck. I want 7, dude. That's what I want. I want 7.
That's supposed to be the best one. People say that's the best part.
I want 7
really
so bad.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
They say it's the peak.
If you guys are wondering, this, last time we had a guest on, it was our littlest brother, a tough get. We really had to pay him a lot. We had to get a lot of work and effort. This time around, our guest is even tougher pull. She's a big deal in the anime community, a big anime fan, anime nerd, and also married to the one of the co-hosts of the Uncensored Anime Podcast. This was a really tough pull. It's not like we're in the same house or anything like that. Yes, Alyssa and I are married. We've been married for years now. So yes, she's in the other room right next door. And yeah, I made her sit on her own webcam. She literally asked, she was like, should I just come sit on webcam with you? I was like, no. You got me. This is a legit podcast. Damn it. This is a legit podcast, damn it. Huh?
I'm scared that you're like echoing in the background too, because
I don't think so.
Pixie got the door open. I don't think you closed it all the way. But
no, I don't think I'm echoing. Also, I think I would hear myself.
But yeah, Jerry's actually paying me about $10K to be here.
Yeah, it's a tough pull.
We're trying to draw the Simps,
Yeah.
Wait, Jerry, that's our entire budget.
Yeah, I know. That was our budget for the year, so we just had to go all out. We had to really bowl out. We wanted our first girl. We wanted to make sure we had a girl anime fan out there somewhere. We had to prove to all the weebs of the internet that they exist. And so we had to make a tough pool. We had to make a tough call. That's all it was, just a tough call.
It might just be AI. I don't know.
Yeah,
honestly, I still don't believe it, but
yeah. Okay, so on the slightest of news, the only there's a couple of small news things that we should touch on before we jump in too deep.
Oh yes, news, Jerry.
News.
Some news.
News.
Yep, news.
JoJo.
Shit.
JoJo?
There's a JoJo's event next year, right, Kenny? In June?
Next July, June.
That was April.
April?
I saw 4/2021.
Maybe it's April. I don't remember.
No way. It's on 4/20?
That's April.
Shut up. It might be April.
Oh.
Yes, there's a big JoJo's event happening next year.
They know what they're about.
Everyone's under the assumption that they'll be announcing Part 6 as anime adaptation, at least giving us some more information as to when that is coming. Hopefully that is the case, but it is still it's about half a year away, so we're not in time. It's not coming anytime soon, but that information did come out, which obviously everyone here is excited. We just want more JoJo's. We're just waiting it. We can't read the manga. We're not going to do it. If you guys didn't hear, I don't know if y'all saw My Hero Academia Season 5 officially announced for the spring, so it'll be back up in 2021, back on air, which is very interesting. I think this is the first season to not air in the fall. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think the first one didn't air in the fall.
I feel like you might be right.
I
think the first season was a winter.
I thought well, that's not fall.
Yeah, I know, but sorry, it started in the fall. It started in December,
like the second half of the year.
Yeah, that's trying to say. In my mind. I'm thinking like I'm in school for the rest of my life.
I thought one of them was summer.
Summer, maybe one was in the summer, Kenny. I think you might be right. So now we're in the spring. So we're getting a season in the spring. So that means it'll have been over a year. Pretty much, it'll be picking up right around where about a year after where the last season ended, which feels like a long time to me. Like it feels like they're taking a little bit of a longer break than I was expecting. I don't know what you guys think, but interesting.
Did they announce like the episode count?
No. So, my guess
is going to be 24. Come on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's My Hero.
So,
I bet it was a longer cycle because I bet they're upping the animation quality.
Oh, I was thinking COVID had something to do with it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That might be true too.
Is it the same animation studio?
Correct.
Yeah.
It is.
My Hero is the king of anime right now. I don't
know. It's not going. Yeah, that studio would never give that crap up right now. No, they would be crazy to do that.
Do you think the next arc will be 24 episodes?
No, I think we'll do 2 arcs. We might get to my favorite arc.
But it's a long arc. This next.
Yeah. But it also
I won't spoil, but yeah, it's long.
Yeah, Jerry and I don't read the manga at all.
I think we'll get the next arc and then also the arc after that, which is the shorter one.
Right.
Right.
So you think it's going to be another? It's going to be like a long. You think it's going to be similar to this last season, Kenny, where it's like a long arc and then a short arc at the end of it?
And it's similar in the way that it's like main story centric, school centric, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I do think there's a trailer out, so if people want to go look at the trailer, I think they dropped a trailer for the next season. So
yeah, it shows all of their new hero costumes, their winter costumes.
Yeah. Bakugo's got like a Best Genius look to him, right?
Yeah,
I saw a picture. I didn't like go watch the trailer yet, but I saw a picture.
It's all of they have winter uniform and winter hero outfits.
Kenny, I feel like there was another news thing.
Here come the cosplays.
Yeah.
Anytime there's a new outfit for a really popular show like that, I mean, somebody picks it up so fast.
Literally, like the day after it's on the anime.
Everybody's like, yes, like upvoting it.
Hell yeah.
Y'all see that?
1 million likes on Insta.
Like that TikTok where it shows the people like marching, like ding, ding, ding. You know what I'm talking about?
Moscow.
Yeah, that's it. Anytime it's like, new outfit gets announced for My Hero. That's the cosplayers coming in. Kenny, I feel like there's other anime news that we talked about, and I'm literally like, it's like blanking from my head.
Was there more Shaman King stuff released?
The last trailer that we talked about in the last episodes, I think the last bit we've got, I'm pretty sure it is set to air in spring, so it's coming fast. It'll be here before we know it. For Your Eternity, I think is the name of the anime coming. I want to say it's also for spring. Someone's going to correct me because it might not be called that. David, look it up. For Your Eternity, I think is what it's called. It's an older manga written by the same person who wrote A Silent Voice.
Is it To Your Eternity?
To Your Eternity. It got a trailer that just got. This is exactly what I was trying to think of.
Very cool.
To Your Eternity trailer drop for A Silent Voice. The same creator having a new anime. It looks dope. I think, Lissa, I showed it to you, right?
Oh, it dropped.
Yeah, we watched it together.
Yeah,
It says it dropped September 4th.
It was just like 2 days ago or something.
Oh, it already dropped.
Yeah, unless there was like a new trailer that was dropped recently, but the initial one was September 4th.
Okay,
to Your Eternity official trailer.
I'm late to the finding the trailer, but the show doesn't come out until the spring, correct? I think so.
Let me see.
Let me double down. I'll double check, but this one looks really exciting, guys. I mean, anyone who has it, we talked up April of 2021 is what I'm seeing. We talked up Silent Voice so much, and this series looks just as cool. If you haven't seen the trailer, go check it out. Tons of just like cool theming, lots of cool artwork. Alyssa and I walked away from the trailer like, wow, that looks really like pretty breathtaking animation. So I think that's going to be another show to be on the lookout for. I'm not sure. I think the manga is still running, so I'm not sure what the plan is with the anime. If they just do one season and maybe come back for more. I'm not sure what the plan is just yet, but it definitely looks really nice. The anime looks really clean, and it seems like a little bit more fantastical than a Silent Voice, a little bit less grounded in reality, which kind of gives the author some more room to do something fun. So I'm really excited about that for sure. And then I think, Kenny, did you remember anything else, or David, that's happening in the anime world? One Piece. Oda's hurt. Oda's sick.
I did see that. Yeah, he's off for all October.
Yes.
We won't hit 1,000 chapters this year.
We were originally going to hit 1,000 by the end of the year.
Wait, what happened? Like an illness or
illness is what I was.
He's like sick.
Yeah. Looks like it's illness has hit him, and I don't know what else to say about it. It's like he's taking a whole month off.
I bet that's why they ran the special one shots of Promise Neverland and Demon Slayer this week. I bet it was to fill One Piece. Yeah.
Right. So,
jeez.
One Piece fans, we are in a pickle. Pray for Oda. Give
the manga's such a cool spot right now too, but hopefully, more importantly, he gets better.
Yeah.
Also, Togashi, every night I pray, please, Togashi, get better.
I've heard that he does, what's the word?
What?
Yoga?
No, he writes chapters in advance, so I wouldn't be surprised if, a couple of the next One Piece chapters are probably already near done, even though he's just now going on break. But I'm sure they're holding them intentionally so that they don't get, you know what I mean? Like, they don't want to catch up to him, and, so they're probably taking the break intentionally with him, which is important. And then, Kenny, you briefly just mentioned it. Yes, Promise Neverland and Demon Slayer ran special one-shot chapters in Weekly Shonen Jump this week. If you have finished either of those manga, you should definitely go check those out. I am not reading the manga on either. Alyssa and I we're anime onlys on Demon Slayer and Promise Neverland. We're not trying to get caught up on the manga. We're staying away from that. But I know you, Kenny, you've read them both, and David, you have not, right?
I read 2 arcs into the Demon Slayer manga after I finished season 1 because I was hopped up on Demon Slayer.
You're hype, but you haven't finished it. You didn't finish the ending.
No. I only read the movie that's coming out in I think a week at this point.
It's coming soon.
It covers there's a train arc. Basically,
is that coming? Is the train? I don't remember hearing is that getting a straight to digital release, or are we gonna have to wait for Japan to release it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
What's going on with that?
The trailer is coming up soon. The trailer comes out next week.
Yo, it's set to release in Japan on the 16th.
Yeah.
So that means it's about to drop, boys. They're about to drop that. That's gonna be so hype. I hope it gets a direct to digital, dude.
Yeah.
Announces.
It's a pretty cool arc too, and I'm excited about seeing some more sword styles.
Yes,
because they're so good in the anime. Let me put this out there for you. If you've read the Demon Slayer manga, it is not super exciting, and it's not terribly it's just another run-of-the-mill shonen. And it genuinely, I think, got canceled before the anime came out, and the way they animated the battles and the sword techniques in the anime are so excellent that I'm so excited for more sword techniques and more battles. Because this is, it was surprisingly well done for something that I still really enjoyed Demon Slayer, but I don't think that it was as good as it is. I think the anime is better than the manga.
Yeah.
UFO Table came in and was like, just lifted it up.
Yeah, I think Demon Slayer is one of the few examples out there of like an anime that improved its source material. I mean, just hands down, Demon Slayer.
Absolutely.
I don't think Demon Slayer would have ever sold as many copies as it did. I don't think it would have ever been such an international success had it not gotten the anime adaptation that it did. And that's the only reason it's here. I think that it was already on its steep decline as a manga. The series was on its way out. And now it's kind of getting this second breath. So we'll see how this Train movie does. I think it was a weird decision to adapt an arc into a movie. I'm not exactly sure why they did that.
That's sort of UFO Table par for the course, though.
They kind of have to jump in and do a new season quick, in my opinion. I think that if they don't jump in and get another season out by the end of next year, I think people are already like losing the hype for it, to be upfront.
I'm excited about this next arc. Let me just...
No, I think
it's a kind of short arc, too. So it does make sense from like an adaptation perspective to make that a movie versus making it like its own season, because I feel like a season would be too long.
Right.
Oh, yeah. We would need 2 arcs at least.
And it's definitely UFO Table. UFO Table's going to be able to go like all out on the animation. I'm sure it's going to be fucking gorgeous. And that's like I think that's going to help elevate it again. But again, if they don't get another season out by the end of next year, like if they take too much time, I think we are already seeing the hype dwindle with shows like Jujutsu Kaisen starting, which we're going to talk about next week. With Dr. Stone coming back for its second season already. You've got Black Clover back on air and running full speed ahead. You've got all these other shonen that are
Black Clover
that are in go mode, and it's like if Demon Slayer's already over, and even though it was the King of the Jungle in 2019 it came out in 2019 technically. It was the King of the Jungle in the anime world in 2019. If they can't get season 2 out by 2021, I think it's gonna start to fizzle. I mean, UFO Table's just got to pump the gas and get that shit out because it's already losing a lot of energy right now with all those other shows starting to pick up. But I don't know.
And they can do that. They can just pump the gas.
Yeah, just go. It's over. Just go.
It's all out.
Also this week.
And I don't. Oh, you go, Jerry.
No, you're finishing a thought about Demon Slayer. I was going to move on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so just one last thing. I think Demon Slayer is the only thing that UFO Table is working on in terms of animation. So
that's good.
Like you said, there shouldn't be an excuse for season 2 to not at least start like middle next year.
Yep.
So
all right, boys, let's ask Alyssa here. Alyssa, what's up, man?
Hi.
You're being real quiet.
I don't exist. What are you talking about?
No, you better chill.
Girls don't exist.
Girls don't exist.
No.
I only watch Boys Love.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Girls exist.
What's going on in the manga anime world for you? What do you think is here on the podcast, we have talked a lot about like what is the next generation of shonen, or what's the next generation of like the big dogs? Like what's your perspective? Obviously we talk about I ramble about it in my sleep. But tell us what, from where you're sitting.
Yeah, I know. I'm right next to you.
From where you're sitting, where is this go? Where are we going with anime right now?
Oh my gosh. It is hard to tell right now. And I mean, obviously, kind of like what we mentioned earlier, My Hero really is the anime that is taking the place of everything that once was popular, like Naruto and Bleach, and I mean, it's hard to say One Piece because One Piece is still just going and going and going. But manga, I mean, I guess I'm not as well versed on that. I would definitely defer to Kenny on most of that. But I mean, I've been reading a couple of new things that I don't know, Kenny, if you've read any of Phantom Seer. It's been out for a couple of weeks. It's in Shonen Jump. Possibly. It kind of it gives me some like Deep Gray Man, Bleach vibes, and it's about shamans.
That's weird.
It's modern world. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I would recommend it. I think the art's really well done in there. But as far as it taking over like all these things that used to be really popular, I don't know. I can't really say much about that. But yeah, with the anime world too.
How many chapters are out for it?
7 or 8.
I mean, only 8 or something. It's
so it's pretty new.
Yeah, it's very new. It's so 8 chapters would be about 2 months now. Yeah, I just kind of randomly picked it up one day. I was like, this kind of looks interesting. Just because, we're in a pandemic, so there's nothing better to do right now except just try new things. Gosh, yeah, I don't know. When I think of anime, it is hard to even look past My Hero, just because it's just so... I mean, the market's like almost oversaturated with it. It's like it's like all people ever talk about. It's like My Hero this, My Hero that.
Yeah. I remember whenever it had 4 chapters, it was like I could tell. I was like, this is the new king. This was like the Simba moment. I was like, this is going to be a phenomenal international success. And
lo and behold, it is.
Lo and behold, Kenny was right.
There it is.
And
I mean, there's a couple other good things, but like, are they traditionally that like shonen, like there's a fight like every other episode? No. I mean, I think Jerry and I can both say that we really enjoy reading and watching Dr. Stone, but it's definitely not the typical shonen type of show where people are fighting all the time. They're like they're using jujitsu or just magical powers or anything. It's like a sciencey show too. So I don't know. Anime and manga definitely is in a weird place right now.
Yes.
When Chainsaw Man gets animated, though.
Chainsaw Man.
Let me
tell you, Chainsaw Man.
Oh man.
Bro, oh my god.
Oh
my god.
I started reading it recently. I'm
good, bro.
It's
Denji is the best shonen protagonist.
For those who are uninitiated, the first official Chainsaw Man volume is actually coming out in America just a day after we record this podcast, so it will be out by the time you're watching this. And you should go pick it up if you have not started it before, or pay the $2 to get the entire back catalog, including things that are not out yet, obviously here in the US, all of the chapters up to the most recent in Japan on Shonen Jump's website. You guys should do that if you haven't, because Chainsaw Man is awesome. I've read about 30 chapters of it. I still need to catch up. And it's just a blast. It's definitely like, it's the next... I'm not saying it's the next My Hero, because I don't think it has the same type of broad appeal. No. But it is definitely like the next, like, anime that's going to be... It's going to be next level, yeah.
I think it'll be the next Attack on Titan.
It's going to elevate the shonen game when it turns into an anime, I think.
Yeah. Because it's such a weird, like... It's weird. I wouldn't even call it shonen. Like, it's not really shonen. It's almost seinen in its blood and gore, and it's sort of...
Right.
And it's not shonen shaped, like...
Right.
But it's so good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, guys. We are doing good on time. We're 20 minutes into this puppy. You know what? I love calling our podcast a puppy for some reason. That's my recurring... That's my wubba lubba dub dub. And honestly, I was just thinking that we should jump in to our show, one of our shows for the night.
Oh, God.
And I think it's time, boys. And I don't expect it. Honestly, traditionally on this podcast, we spend like 30, 40 minutes dissecting each show we watch. I am not even sure there's like 30 to 40 minutes of like dissection available for this show. It was a 7-episode Netflix series.
Very short.
And
it was short.
Super short. Netflix series that dropped based off of a video game. Kenny, actually, I forgot. Kenny, you go ahead and give us our synopsis. I'm getting into it. But yes, here we go. Dragon's Dogma, the first show tonight.
Dragon's Dogma is based off of a game. And let me preface the whole thing by saying that the game is all about beating the shit out of big monsters. That's all you want to do. You want to throw your light swords and shoot your arrow. Like you can have a bow that's made out of light and it shoots light arrows and shit. That's cool. Dragon's Dogma, the show, is about none of that. Oh. So we're met with Ethan, and his village gets destroyed by a dragon, and then the dragon takes his heart and makes him into an arisen. And then is like, come kill me. And then you meet a pawn. And pawns are like, Ethan doesn't know what they are, but for some reason everybody else knows what they are.
No. Also, everybody else knows what arisen are.
They treat him as if they know that in his town. Though, they had no fucking idea.
They had no idea. They're like, what?
Oftentimes, Ethan didn't know anything. So the whole point of the show is Ethan's going to kill this dragon. That's the point, and that's the point of the game. You go and you fight a dragon. You kill some shit, and that's the whole game. Griffins fly in, and you're like, I'm going to kill this, and then you kill it, and that is the game. That's the show, and that's all it should have been. And it should have just been fun action, smashing some creatures, and maybe some light story. Okay,
some light, just a little sprinkle of a story, dude.
Dragon's Dogma is so much talking, so much not fighting creatures, so much just like nothing. Nothing happens.
But Kenny,
it was bad.
You see him fight that Cyclops though?
Lame. I think the only cool fight in the show was the Hydra fight, bro.
You see him fight
Hydra. I like the
fight that Chimera though.
At the end.
Yeah,
the Chimera though.
He turned into a Goblin Slayer too at one point.
Hey, Kitty.
Yeah.
The goblins are trying to get that lady.
Why do goblins always gotta rape people? There were some titties in the
I know. I'm like,
Kitty, you see him.
Come on.
You see him start having sex with that succubus, and then he chokes that succubus though.
That was pretty funny. Also,
that was pretty funny.
The seven deadly sins bullshit that they tried to cook into the humans are evil. They don't cook that shit in. That's not important.
Okay, Alyssa,
I agree.
Give us you're our guest here. You watch
Alyssa, what's your take?
I agree. There's just I hadn't played the video game. I don't know much about it really, but after it, we looked it up and we watched the opening cutscene and stuff, and he never had a wife, he never had some adopted brother son kid person, I don't know, that gets eaten. So that was kind of weird. It was just the dragon shows up and takes his heart in the game, so it's they had to add all this stuff to feel like it was something, They had to add the wife, the pregnant wife. They had to add the adopted son. They had to add all these weird philosophical undertones. They had to add the seven deadly sins or whatever to make it, what they probably thought was sustenance, but it really wasn't. It was just a very measly attempt at sustenance.
Yeah,
and and just I'm always kind of critical of 3D animation anyway. I think it looks strange most of the time. Some studios do it right. Yeah, I think Beastars is a great example of really well done 3D animation, but this one just felt very, very stiff and just not well done at all. And it was slow. It was just a slow show. There was.
Isn't that weird to say?
I agree with Katie. There
7 episodes long.
No, it's only 7 episodes long, and it's slow. And those episodes are not consistently, 25 minutes or anything. One was even 19 minutes, and it still felt like an eternity. So it was definitely a dookie sandwich of a show.
Alyssa, you're a fan of the podcast. She knows.
I watch the podcast every week.
She knows.
I know the inside jokes.
But I agree. It was
not good.
The animation was the second I saw. So I don't know why. I think we've talked about this before, but Netflix just has a hard on for all their original adaptations of anime to be in CGI. Mm-hmm. And Beastars, from what I've seen, Beastars is the only one that's done it well. But I still before I started Beastars, I was oh no, I had that initial cringe. But as the show went on, it was great. Yeah. With this, I had that initial cringe, and it just got worse as the show went on.
Right.
And
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, it was there were times when we would see expressions on Ethan's face, but it would it wasn't a natural animation. It would just go from normal to completely psychotic, gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And it was just not. It just wasn't seamless at all. It wasn't natural. So watching it was kind of head tilting of okay, why did they decide to do that? The fights were cool. I thought the monsters were cool, but that was like the only.
The Hydra fight was cool.
Yeah, like that's it. Like the fights were cool. Everything else was just like I dreaded watching the show. Just
I have 2 questions. One, at some points were just their heads CG animated and their bodies were regular animated. I'm pretty confident in that final scene.
It was hard to tell.
Alyssa and I caught it a couple times where it felt like it would get flat all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And then, like, obviously, like, some characters, they would just do regular animation for it. Like, some of the shit. And then,
some weird cutscenes. Like,
one of the flashbacks, I think, was almost fully 2D.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, did he fly into the past? Is that, like, does he fly
good question.
What was
Where the hell did he go?
I don't know.
He flew into a wormhole. I don't fucking know, bro.
I think it was a wormhole.
I never beat the game, so I don't know, like, the dragon's you become the dragon. Yeah, I get that.
I hated that too. I just thought it was such a fucking cop out.
It was so corny. It was just so corny.
It really was. He's like, I kill because I am a dragon, and that's what dragons do.
Well, he did.
Yeah. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Also, he tried so hard to make the show deep, and then that's your answer.
Yeah, the character arcs aren't arcs. It's just like they are one way on episode 4 whenever they're fighting the Hydra, and then they are the other way on episode 5. Just point blank. Like, there's no like development. They're just one way one episode and the other way the next episode. And the two, we re-meet Balthazar and Simon. Yeah, and they're like, you guys have changed. Yeah. And we have not seen any change from them.
Yeah. Because Ethan is like, he's like chill. He's not chill because it's like the whole show is a super basic revenge story.
Right.
So like we see him in the beginning, like he wants revenge, but he still like has some kind of humanity to him. But then he gets like, there's like that flip and he's like just so angry all the time. There's like parts where he's like yelling at the pawn and she's like,
Hannah.
Yeah, it's like when Hannah dies against the Hydra, he like it tries to convince us as an audience that like he cracks, and then he breaks and he turns red-eyed or whatever, and he murders the Hydra with his bare hands, and then the next episode, he meets up with the homies that they knew from the Chimera fight, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you've changed," and
you're like,
I guess we're supposed to infer that like that single death and like. It was like I've never seen a show that was so slow paced and fast paced at the same time. Is the best way I can. Like it tried to move really fast with certain things, therefore it like just didn't care. And clearly because there's just not a lot of when you're adapting a video game like this, like there is a storyline to Dragon's Dogma the game, but like what do you pick and choose? And I think that they fumbled the ball a little bit on like what to choose storyline wise. Because it sucks because to me, the setup in episode 1 was satisfying, if that makes any sense. Like, episode 1 is a standalone episode, to me, was satisfying. It sets up the scenario. There's a couple different little character introductions. You see the characters kind of have moments. There's there's even the scene where they're talking as they're walking to go hunt, him and the kid, the scene at the dinner table. And then obviously there's the inciting incident. The dragon appears, the fight incurs, death happens, he comes to term, he loses his heart. The setup was good in my mind, and then it just fumbled the bag like the whole rest of the show. It was just like, okay, we'll fight some monsters. We're going to make Ethan's whole character fumble the pieces. He doesn't actually give a shit about this. Oh, and also the dragon's like a philosophy major at a local community college, and he thinks that all dragons...
Local liberal arts college.
Yeah.
I kill humans the same way you breathe.
Yeah. You've got your.
What does that mean?
You've got your.
What does that mean?
Your local community college.
It's just in my nature.
It's just who I am. Baby.
It's like they thought that they could just say anything with a super super deep voice, and it will sound cool.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened.
You're not Smaug.
And they
You're
tried
not Smaug
to
like chill.
They tried to like twist in this whole like the true evil is the evil of man, like storyline throughout, where it's like, you know, each monster had like a horrific thing about them that they were doing, but then each of the humans that surrounded those monsters, whether it was the drugs, the sex, the manipulation from the Cyclops group, or the waifu abuse or whatever that was happening with the Chimera, and you know, there was like all these evils of man that were like twisted into the monsters to try to like make this sort of larger point, which is why, oh surprise, at the end, the man is the monster. He's a dragon. Like, it was trying to set this up to be some sort of like bigger than it was sentiment, and I think that it unfortunately fell flat as an audience. Like, I can't imagine that anyone walked away from Dragon's Dogma thinking like, God, people suck. Like, yeah, man, like, yeah.
Yeah, like I was in the same boat. Whenever the guy stabs his wife, and they're like, "Why'd you do that?" I was like, "Why did you do that?" He had like no motivation to do that, and then like he was like, "I love you. I just want to be with you." And then was like, "Stab! Oh, guess I'm stabbing myself." And you're like, "What?" You're like, "What's happened?"
She tried to fuck Ethan, Kenny.
She apparently had already fucked the other guy.
Yeah, she really had, dude. Bro, what was this?
I don't know. And then Ethan chokes that succubus.
Bro, he's on top of her. He's like, "You're not my real wife." I was like, okay.
Obviously, what?
Yeah, I was like, "It's a succubus."
Yeah.
So I do want to drop some fun facts about this show real quick.
Okay, drop some Dragon's Dogma facts.
So
yeah, and then we can rate it because I have nothing else to say.
Kenny,
so apparently people from the actual game, Dragon's Dogma, were involved with the show. The original composer for Dragon's Dogma composed the show.
Okay.
I don't know if that means anything to anybody. It doesn't to me, but
No.
I mean, yeah, like shout out for bringing the crew back, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and it was animated by Sublimation, which I guess is Netflix's animation studios. Okay. And that's about it.
That's about all we know.
So
That's it.
that's it.
I am curious because obviously we didn't play the game.
How disappointing.
A little bit. Yeah, how disappointing. That's the consensus on Dragon's Dogma. We looked at the game a little bit, and it seems like they did. I mean, I feel like all of those, just from like someone who hasn't played the game, I have a suspicion that all of those monsters were battles in the game. Like, I'm just gonna I bet, like, if I had to guess,
monsters are ever present in the world. Like, you just fight.
Well, yeah, but I assume that these are all like boss or big boss battles from the game. Don't you think?
No, you can fight griffins anytime.
Oh, like griffins just swoop in. So they just integrated some aspects of the villains.
I'm pretty sure Cyclopses are the same way.
Okay, that makes sense.
They probably just took enemies from the game and just try to write a story around each of them.
That's what it looked like when I looked it up.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's funny because like the game is like very popular. The game is sold well.
Pretty fun.
It's got positive reviews, positive sales.
One of the coolest parts about the game is the class system. Like each of the classes are distinct and fun. Like there's like a magic knight, which you see vaguely, like Balthazar can cast magic on his weapons. That's something that you can do, and you can shoot light arrows, and then there are like delineations of those classes. Basically, it's a cool game. You should play the game.
Yeah,
check it out.
I'm sure that's why. I'm sure that's why Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Switch.
Okay. Switch.
I'm sure that's why.
Oh yeah.
They made this, right? I mean, like, this had to have been made because it was a fan favorite. Like, that's got to be it, right? Like, there's no other reason.
Yeah, for sure. I think going into the anime, there was a lot of positive set up for Dragon's Dogma as a whole. Because it also has an MMO exclusively in Japan.
Wow.
And it's been going on since 2015. I guess it's still live. So yeah, I mean, Dragon's Dogma as a universe is popular from what I'm seeing, but then the show doesn't really represent that, or I guess show that it's popular. Like, if I have never played the games, so this is like my introduction to Dragon's Dogma. This makes me think that the games were shit.
Yeah, right. It It didn't make Alyssa and I want to go play the games. That's for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Which you would think this is like super easy. Like everyone has a Netflix account, and if you like anime, you saw this, you'd probably be like, "Oh, this sounds cool. I might start it." And if this is good, you might look into it. You might get the game. You know, it's overall good for the series. But like, I'm sure a lot of people like us have seen this, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm good. No,
I'll
thanks."
pass. Thanks though.
The game's fun. Let me tell you right now. The game's pretty fun.
All right, can you sell me on the game?
So I said the classes are really cool. The classes
Kenny said, "Okay, dokie."
and you get to pick two, because you get your pawn and you get your character, but you can also recruit other pawns, because I think you move in a unit of 3 or 4. You might be able to recruit 2 pawns. It used to be like I would have like Mikey and Robbie's pawn in my game. I believe.
Now is the pawn supposed to be a waifu, or like was that?
No, you can make whatever.
They're just like random NPCs, right?
Yeah, the anime went all out on making her into like a waifu.
Yeah, you genuinely just create another character,
right?
And they play with you. But the classes are really cool. Fighting the creatures are actually really cool. And it's like, you know, you're gonna just be like, oh, bro, I'm about to fight. Like you see something in the distance, you're like, I'm gonna fight that, and then you go fight it, and you're like, oh, this is dope. Oh, I want to fight this Chimera. I want to fight this Griffin. I want to fight this Cyclops. Like, whatever. You can do whatever you want. You run around and whack shit, and that's the fun of the game.
This is like me playing Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
and
it looks like Elder Scrolls almost.
It's open world. It's a fun game.
Witcher.
Yeah.
It's a fun game. It's cool.
I might play the game.
Yeah, if you're bored. Okay, I don't really have much to comment on the music, except the intro sucked. It was unbearable.
I wish they
had just done a classic.
Yeah.
It was like Game of Thrones, you know, do, like just, you know, they're like.
But Game of Thrones was good.
Not anywhere near as epic.
Yeah, you're right.
It's also something that's
like
if you're gonna do an intro like that, make it epic. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, Netflix. Yeah. If you're gonna do an intro, make it
Netflix.
Epic, you punk. Yeah, the music was pretty bland. The animation obviously looked stale. It was crusty. Some of the fights looked okay.
Crusty.
Even the artwork felt really mismatched. The monsters didn't feel like they fit in with the characters. The characters didn't feel like they fit in with the monsters. You know, it was not really a great thing to look at. The voice work, I don't know. Would you guys watch dub or sub? What'd y'all do?
Dub.
I watched dub.
Dang, you guys both watched dub. Yeah,
we
Alyssa and I watched
the
subbed. Yeah, we went sub for it just because, like, we just did.
I think the voice acting was actually
okay.
well done.
Okay,
the voice acting was good. I mean, they couldn't really do a lot with the script that they were given, but
with that Dookie sandwich, I gotta be honest.
You felt like the scripting was okay though for the dub. It didn't feel off or anything like that. It felt.
I mean, the script was kind of ass, but like their performance of the script was well done.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's good. No, yeah, the sub felt. I don't know, Liz. What do you think? Do you feel like it felt? I felt like it was well acted. Actually,
I thought it's probably the best part.
Yeah, I feel like the voice actor did pretty good. The guy who played Ethan. Did we figure out who Ethan was? Wait,
bro, he played the dragon too.
Oh, I can't remember.
Do you guys, in the dub they had accents, didn't they?
No. They had JoJo's accents.
Oh, that's
JoJo's accent.
If you've seen the JoJo's dub, they do some goofy accents in the first part, and it makes no sense. They're like, "Oh, they're British. They got British accents," and you're like,
So I think there are actually some big name. I think they're big name. I've seen them in a lot of stuff. Like Erica Mendez.
Mm-hmm.
She does the voice for I think the main character from Kill la Kill. She was Hannah. There's Christina V. I've seen her name around. Greg Chun, which I have not seen him anywhere, and he has a long filmography of stuff, so he's been in a lot of stuff too. He's in Demon Slayer. So I think the name, the dub cast is like pretty well known.
Sub was pretty good too. I mean, the lead voice actor Ethan, that was Yuichi Nakamura. He voices Gray and Fairy Tail, Moomin Rider, and One Punch Man. Bruno Bucciarati in JoJo's Part 5. Hawks in My Hero Academia. That's all him. And honestly, he's got a very diverse voice.
And
he dubbed Captain America.
Yeah,
in
he's the
Marvel
dub voice
movies.
of Captain America, and he's the Japanese dub of
Nice.
Captain America. So
That's
you've got a
cool.
pretty good voice actor there. And then your other Hannah, she doesn't have as many roles. Looks like a main role in Rosario and Vampire, Precure, Persona 5.
And
She was
Wait, who's she in Persona 5?
She was Hinata Hyuga in Naruto, so she played the voice of Hinata through all of that. In Persona 5, she played Anne Takamaki.
Oh shit! Oh, that's hype.
Japanese voice of Anne. Yeah, she's like the lead girl. Right?
Oh,
yeah.
These people are huge. Holy shit!
So I feel like the voice
These are
performance
big name people.
in Japanese was
Japan doesn't
also
play.
pretty good.
Capcom shelled out, man.
They brought out the big dogs for this.
That was their entire budget on the voice actor.
Yeah, honestly,
Right.
it feels like of everything, with a shit script, with shit scripting, shit pacing, terrible animation, and poorly done soundtrack, but we got some badass voice actors to come read this shit script, god damn it. We got some good fucking voice actors. You better sit down and watch Dragon's Dogma. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that could have made this show better is if there were vampires and knights.
It's crazy that they somehow left out vampires. And
Yeah.
we were watching
No vampires, no knights.
It's medieval, and there were no vampires. That's crazy.
And here's the thing:
That's
there were no
honestly
vampire
crazy.
knights.
What show?
I saw no knights. I saw no vampires.
Yeah.
No knights, no vampires,
That's
and that's
weird.
all I watch anime for.
Yeah, that's
Vampire
weird.
Knights.
I wonder what other show we could have checked out if we wanted Vampire Nights, dude. I don't know.
man. I don't know.
Maybe that's crazy. There seems to be a show called Vampire Night. Maybe we need to check out Vampire Night.
Where?
Maybe we all need to check out Vampire
Wait, hold on. Where?
No, Vampire
Wait.
Google
No.
it. Crazy going on here, guys.
Vampire Knight is a Japanese shoujo manga series written by Matsuri Hino.
What?
Whoa.
That's
We gotta
balls,
check
bro.
that one out.
We gotta
It's
check
on
that one out.
Tubi. I don't know what
Put it on
Tubi is.
put it on the list.
Oh my
Wait.
Oh my
god.
God. All right, boys.
Tubi.
Let's rank this Dragon's Dookie sandwich. Let's rank this puppy up. Y'all know the drill. Alyssa, for the uninitiated, this is how it works. David counts us down, and then on our hands with our 10 fingies, we hold up our ranking out of 10. How do we rank this show? You can actually give a show a 0. We have not given anything a 0 yet. You can rank it up from a 0 to a 10. We pretty commonly give out 0.5s, so feel free to join in. So when David's done with the countdown, we will all hold up our fingies for our ranking for Dragon's Dookie Sandwich. And
Is this worse or better than Log Horizon?
Worse,
I
bro.
have
Worse.
opinions about that.
Worse.
Okay.
Way worse.
David,
All right.
you have to decide for yourself. But
Okay, you guys ready? Okay.
Yes, let's do it.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
2.
Oh!
It's across the board.
Oh! Dragon's Dogma from the Uncensored Anime
Telepathy.
Podcast gets a beautiful 2. A beautiful
Right.
2, and I think that if you can't tell from our discussion, Dragon's Dogma is difficult to watch. It's poorly paced. It's not well animated. The scripting's rough. The fight scenes are not that satisfying. And you pretty much walk out feeling like you just got a lecture from a 19-year-old in his local community college philosophy class trying to tell you that the wrongs of humanity are the true wrongs that we must right. And telling it through some sort of medieval story. It was goofy and a bit absurd.
Yep.
So I think that's about all we have to say on that.
Right. I would say it's not unwatchable with a question mark.
That's why it's like a 0 and a 1. It's like it's only 7 episodes. You can watch it in one sitting. One episode is literally only like 19 minutes long, like Alyssa said earlier. None of the episodes are longer than 30 minutes, so it's super fast watch. But it's not unwatchable. The voice acting carries carries it enough to like not be completely boring. But I will say that by like episode 3 or 4, you're just kind of like, why am I watching this again? I think that's the general consensus. So a whopping 2. I think that's the official worst anime we've watched yet.
We may watch worse though. So.
Hey, Log Horizon and Tower God just barely beat us out. I mean, both were in the 4 category range. Right around
those
4s.
aren't.
To me, those are
aren't
watchable shows that you can get through that have at least modicums of character development and positioning for some sort of bigger world. Dogma just doesn't have that. I mean, it's just a half-assed. Feels like what do you call it? You remember how like back in
Dookie sandwich.
You remember in the 2000s, every single movie that came out,
they would always make a PlayStation 2 game of it. It was like the new The Rock movie where he's like a local swim trainer who like gets buff and has to fight like robbers. They'd like make a PlayStation 2 game where you like walk around as like a block switch Vin Diesel the Rock. You walk around and just like punch guys with like the square button. It's like Dragon's Dogma is like the reverse. It's like the anime adaptation version of the PS2 movie game. That's what Dragon's Dogma is.
That's actually a great comparison because that's so accurate here.
On shirts. Put that one on shirts. Dragon's Dogma is the PS2 movie game of anime. Honestly, that might be the title.
Well, boys, we won't hold anything back. I don't know how long we're going to talk about this next show because it is, in my opinion, pretty close to probably one of the best shows to come out in many years. I think a lot of people herald it as, I don't know if people consider it the best anime of all time or their favorites by any means, but it is certainly a very popular show that dropped recently. It came out in the back half of 2019 to Amazon Prime, and that is Vinland Saga. We're going to stack the medieval themes right on you. We're going to go right from Dragon's Dogma to Vinland Saga. We wanted to do sort of a double header. Alyssa's a big medieval fan, a big fangirl of everything from that era that, well, maybe not medieval, but like, what do you call like Skyrim and The Witcher and
high fantasy. Vikings? High fantasy.
Norse.
High fantasy. Lord of the Rings. Alyssa's a very high fantasy fan. I think high fantasy is a good word for it.
Yeah.
As you can see with her Lord of the Rings Funko Pops right behind her, you can see that this is her thing. So Vinland Saga was a show that Alyssa really wanted to watch, and I watched it with her a while back. We finally marathoned the whole thing after it was over. And then David finally got the chance to watch it as well this week. So, Kenny, what is Vinland Saga?
So Vinland Saga is actually a historical anime. It vaguely touches on many historical aspects. There are still a lot of characters that aren't actually that don't actually exist, but the main overarching historical context of it did happen and do exist. And some of the characters existed as well. So Vinland Saga is about a boy named Thorfinn. And it turns out, so first of all, spoilers for Vinland Saga. We're going to get right into it. He is living in an Icelandic village with his family, and a group of Vikings, the Jom Vikings, come and ask for his father to fight in the next war. Now, he didn't know that his father was a part of this group, and his father deserted this group. And so the Jom Viking actually didn't want Thor's. They wanted to just take care of him. So they get an assassin, a group of pillagers, and I would say, they are still vaguely Vikings, but they're sort of Nordic men that sail, and they're pirates maybe, or they're mercenaries. But they come and they kill Thorfinn's father, and Thorfinn then is set on a revenge quest. Well, 2 revenge quests this week as well. He sets on a revenge quest to kill the guy who killed his father with pride. He doesn't sort of sneak up on him and try and kill him. And this guy's name is Askeladd. And the story is about how Askeladd raises Thorfinn, sort of as his own child.
In some weird, twisted way, yeah.
I would, in my opinion, I feel like Vinland Saga, the first season especially, is a tale of two fathers and how Thorfinn deals with the deaths of his two parents. Thor's, who had raised him until he was 9, I believe, and then Askeladd, who raised him through his formative years, through puberty and through him coming into an adult man. And the death of these 2 characters are weighed heavy on him because obviously losing your father.
Damn, Kenny, you're going straight for the jugular and talking about Askeladd's death. Well, I'm like, that's literally the last scene of the last episode.
Spoilers, bro.
Yeah.
But
he said spoiler alert.
I know. I'm just like, damn,
I think,
bro.
Right, it's like, it's in
Dang.
Oh no.
Mid-thought,
He
we
was
lost
going
the
so hard
boy.
that
We
we
lost
him.
the boy. We lost the boy mid-thought. Here he comes, boys. Back again. Back on. I swear.
Candy, no.
Mid-thought.
Top level internet.
That's it.
I disconnect every week, but I think that in the show it's intentionally parallel. Askeladd and Thor's death are created because Thor's leaves him with not a lot of direction, and I think that even as a kid he didn't have a lot of direction. He wanted to be a warrior. Or he wasn't looking for at his future. And then with Askeladd's death, all he could think about was killing this guy. And now, what does he have?
Right.
Jack shit. He's got
Jack shit. Okay, Alyssa, this is your choice. You wanted to talk about this show this week. What about it? What about it drew you to the show, and what did you think? What were the impressions after we finished? What's the thought process? Put us in Alyssa's head for a little bit.
Okay. Well, I feel like it starts with just me enjoying a couple of other things that I had, like, you could just say consumed. So, like, the 2018 God of War, whatever you want to call it, God of War 4, just kind of getting ingrained in that Norse mythology.
Amazing game.
Beautiful game.
And it's such a beautiful game. I'm so excited that finally the next one got announced for 2021. So next year, I'm super hype about that. And then there's another.
No, we're waiting. We're gonna wait.
We're gonna wait.
We're gonna wait until the hype dies.
Hopefully, we don't regret that. Don't make that face.
Cyber Monday.
All right. Sorry to interrupt.
David got his. I sent him the link to Amazon.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
So building on that too, I've been watching this show called Vikings for a long time now. I think I started it in maybe 2018 also. 2018, 2019 maybe. It's a History Channel show. And it makes me wonder if these characters are going to get introduced eventually. I don't know if they're far removed from this time period or not. But like Ragnar Lothbrok and his sons and their involvement in the Viking raids and the wars that were taking place in England during that time. So a lot of that definitely contributed to why I wanted to watch the show and just my interest in it. And I'm definitely more of a historically oriented person in general. I just like history a lot. So to see an anime that actually takes a lot of historical events and a really unique culture like the Viking culture, and putting it in anime form, I was like, ooh, nice. Me like. I was like, ooh.
Taste, little bit of Viking, baby.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And it was even more than I expected. Just, I think Kenny did a really good job with the synopsis of it. It ended up being a really touching show about fathers and sons, and we were talking about how Dragon's Dogma was just such a shitty revenge tale. This is how you do a revenge tale right.
Really well.
And that you don't always see the outcome that you want when you're on the path of revenge. Because in the end, Thorfinn, spoilers, doesn't get to kill the man who killed his father. He also has to watch somebody that he considers a father die as well. So you see, you can kind of see that craziness building at the very end, like in that last episode, like, what am I going to do? He had been building up to this moment for years and years. But just to add a couple other things, I think I'm just impressed by the research that the author did, just that went towards just the story and the world building of it too, like the battle tactics, like the Vikings using the shield walls and then portraying historical raids that took place in England. I don't know if you guys remember the character Bjorn, but he like ate a mushroom and he like went crazy. Yep. That was like an actual thing with the berserkers.
Really?
Yeah, it was. They would do things to get in this like trance-like state to just pump up like their battle tendencies, I guess, and just go crazy in battle.
They had the magic mushrooms, baby.
Yeah, they had the magic mushrooms. They said, well, let's go to town. So I was definitely really down for that. And I also looked up too. It's Wit Studio, and they've done Attack on Titan, Ancient Magus's Bride, and the recent Great Pretender. So the animation, is really well done too.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and the music. I mean, like the endings and openings were really just hot. Like
stuck in my head for weeks. After that. Remember that?
Yeah.
I like
doggy dog world.
Yes.
Which is Survive Said the Prophet, which also did the first opening to Banana Fish.
Oh wow!
Oh, okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
They did the first opening and second ending for Banana Fish.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
good music.
But also just the music throughout the show too, just really impressed me as well. I think it really captured kind of the feel that they were going for.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I mean, I really, really love the show. I'm excited for more. I'm probably going to just pick up the manga at some point because I can't freaking wait to see kind of where the story's going. Even the character of Canute, like, you wouldn't expect to get a lot from that character, but then you end up, you do get a lot from that character in the end. So, yeah, so good.
His story,
so I'm in love.
His story is also like Thorfinn's. He loses two fathers. He loses.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
Both I can't remember the guy's name, the bigger guy that was with him in the beginning.
Yeah, like his caretaker.
Yeah. And then
his actual father's
Finn. Oh, it was Ragnar. I think his name was Ragnar.
Ragnar, that's right.
Ragnar. Yeah. Okay, so Liz, Kenny, you guys wrapped up a lot of good stuff in there. David, what do you think? You want to give us some Vinland? And this was you just finished it. Like, did you finish it today again, or did you finish it over the weekend?
Yes. So listeners,
it's fresh for you.
Yeah, listeners, I've had a recent habit of just binging all the shows on the day of or day before we air, or we shoot our episode, just so it's like fresh.
Yeah.
That doesn't really work because I still forget stuff all the time, so it doesn't matter. But no, I did enjoy the show. I think I went in with not really hearing. Kind of twofold. Not hearing a whole lot about it, but still from both of you hearing good things about it to like look forward to watching it. So I went into it thinking, okay, this is probably gonna be pretty good. And I did like the show a lot. I think I like it much more because I did not know that it was so historically referential in its content. Yeah. So which helps makes it even cooler. Yeah, it makes me appreciate it much more. And it's interesting that we did these two shows which last week it kind of worked out the same way that they were connected. There's my cat. But both of these shows have a strong theme of revenge.
Yes.
And I thought that this would kind of end with him getting to, I don't know. I was kind of like trying to be optimistic and think, okay, Thorfinn's going to get his chance. He's going to be able to fight. What's the guy's name? Askeladd, be able to fight him and beat him, and he'll feel better about himself. Some kind of like happy ending-esque for him. But then, looking at the bigger picture, there really isn't a happy ending at all in this universe. People are killing each other. People are stabbing each other in the back, switching sides all over the place. Yeah. I think Askeladd was like, he switched sides like 10 times throughout the entire season. Because it was always what was best for him. Yeah. And it makes sense because that's how you survive in this world. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense. But Thorfinn just got like the short end of the stake every single time. Like no matter what the situation was. I mean, it's amazing that he survived that long. Mm-hmm. I don't really know.
Blood of the troll runs deep, man.
Yeah. And so it's cool to see what he became from like how we see him in like the first few episodes, how he's just like this naive kid, and then all this shit happens to him. So I really enjoyed like seeing that character arc.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm excited for the next season. Again, I think the historical context behind it makes me. I think that's the biggest reason why I would want to keep watching the show. Like the animation and music is good, but now I'm seeing this more as like a History Channel anime, basically.
Yeah,
which is what it basically is.
it kind of is. Yeah, it really
So
is.
that's
Canute is real. He's
Yeah,
a real
so
person
is-
that
these
exists.
are all real people.
So is
Thorkel.
Thorfinn's based off a real
Thorkel.
person. Thorkel is too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Thorfinn's
Thorkel,
based off of the historical explorer Thorfinn, the son of a murdered ex-warrior.
Oh, yeah.
and obviously Leif Erikson too.
Yeah,
Leif
right.
Erikson's
Yeah.
like a lead.
Yeah.
Leif Erikson Day.
Yeah, we all know Leif Erikson, dude.
Watch SpongeBob.
SpongeBob fans, dude.
What's
Yeah.
the?
Go ahead now.
But yeah, hey, Thorkel.
Hingadingadurgan.
Yeah.
Badass.
Thorkel's
Okay,
broken as
Literally,
fuck.
Bad
anime
Oh my
Thorkel
God.
is badass, but even fucking real life Thorkel was kind of badass.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
he's
remember
like-
we looked it up.
Yeah.
Jerry and I were sitting there
What
after
the
an episode.
fuck?
It was that battle where they're on the river and he like lifts up a whole fucking like log, like a whole tree,
Yeah,
and it like throws it
Punch that
at the
shit.
people
No,
coming in from the river.
I
Oh my
said-
god. Yeah.
I said, who let him do that?
No,
Yeah.
I think that, geez, I went into this series thinking it was going to be a battle shonen, and I left realizing it was like one of the most intense character studies in all of anime. I don't know if there's another show that has so deeply touched me with the plotting and pacing of the way a character develops from beginning to end. At first, I was a little worried that Thorfinn's character was going to be sped too fast, too quickly in. And I do think that in some ways there were moments where I was like, that's a bit of an ass pull. Like, did Thorfinn really like get that strong that fast? But I realized that it was really this illustration of the way time moved. But Thorfinn had to be able to do things so that we could see his character grow. And I think that's where the show really shined, is that these characters, Askeladd in the first 5 episodes, you think he's the worst shit human on the planet. And by the end, you realize that he's morally gray, but he's redeemable, and he has qualities about him that were just as... I mean, he might be personally motivated, he might be a little narcissistic, but by the end, you realize that Askeladd is just... I mean, he's just a fatal character, like a character that has flaws like all of us. And I think that you're able to look at Askeladd in a very different light by the end, and you go, wow, this is just this morally gray character that the author was able to show us and actually give us a lot of deep peeks into both the mind and experiences of Askeladd's character. I said it when I finished the show. I looked at Alyssa. I said, this anime is not about Thorfinn. This show's about Askeladd.
The first
Yeah,
season.
the first season,
is
he's the main character.
As much as you don't want it to be, because you watch him kill Thors in the opening, 2 or 3 episodes, you're like, fuck Askeladd for like maybe the first 10 episodes. But about halfway through, you start to realize that there's just a lot more there, and that the author has given us a peek into just the psyche of this character. And by that final scene when he has run out of options, I mean, it killed me, dude. Like when he runs out of options and he starts doing his whole facade, his crazy man facade, so that he can kill the king, and he knew he was going to die. He had to do it in that moment. I was blown away. I think that was such an interesting peak moment for a character that we both hated and loved. And God, like, I did not expect more than a battle shonen, and I walked away just with some of the most carefully plotted character moments of any anime I've ever watched. Now, what were you saying, Ken?
Askeladd, in the show, he often only thinks out for his best interests. And in that final moment, he didn't have to. He didn't have to die in that scenario, right? He could have just allowed them to invade Wales. And I think that for the first time that we see from Askeladd, he makes a very real sacrifice. He sacrifices his life, one, to get Canute where he needs to go quicker, and to save Wales, to save his homeland, to save the people that he cares about, a race and people that he cares about. And Askeladd also sort of had that revenge story journey prior to the beginning. He went and he fought and he killed his father, the guy that he sort of thought was a piece of shit, and he was looking for that. He leaves Thorfinn with the what are you going to do now? Where are you going? And Askeladd, I feel as though, often asked himself that because all he had was warfare. All he was capable of doing was pillaging and sacking and killing other men.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, one, it shows in Thor's, in the beginning of the show, how there's that quick scene where it shows him learning how to be a blacksmith. He's learning how to, because Thor's is the same way. Thor's is this big, strong dude who only ever had to fight. Mm-hmm. And whenever Thor's dies, and he tells Thorfinn, Thorfinn, you have no enemies. You don't need to fight. And then Askeladd asked him, what are you doing next and where are you going? And I think that those are two really important, things to impart on your child, Mm-hmm. What's your next step? And you do not have enemies. You don't need to fight this battle. You don't need to go fight for somebody else and die in a war, kill tons and tons of people who have families, who have, all kinds of different things. You have your life and you can use it however you want. And I think that the show does a really good job of showing that. And I think that the relationship between Askeladd and Bjorn, and just, the relationship obviously between Askeladd and Thorfinn, but the relationship between Canute and Thorfinn, and all of the sort of different intersections of how the characters interact with each other. Or one of my favorite scenes is in that final moment whenever Thorkel understands what Askeladd is doing quicker than anybody else in the room, and he's like, and he sits down and he's pissed off and he's upset and he's like, I like fighting. My favorite thing to do is fight. That final scene, Askeladd's death up to the end of the show is just so well done. Mm-hmm. And I think that Thorkel in those moments, his characterization up to that point was very clear. And if out of any of the characters, he might be the most flat, he's not very three-dimensional, and for good reason. He doesn't have to be, right? He's this huge hulking dude that can go and basically win any war for you, Mm-hmm. And I think that in that moment, you see another characterization of Thorkel, who is, arguably not really an important character, but also not an unimportant character.
I'd argue he's the main antagonist of the back half of the series in some ways.
Yeah.
Thorkel.
Even though he's Thorfinn's uncle, you're like, oh, what?
But I'd say until they're fighting the snow, he kind of, because he has the first interaction with him about halfway where they're on the bridge, cuts the fingers off, and then from that point forward, Thorkel kind of becomes the main antagonist up until the shift to being like King Swain or whatever at the end or whatever.
Right, and it's not clear. I don't think there is a true antagonist, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not.
Everybody sort of just is fighting for. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
everyone's a little gray.
Thorkel's all jolly as shit, and he's like, I don't know, I just like the battle, and you're like,
oh, I fucking hands down, Thorkel's my favorite character in the show.
He's
unquestionably.
He's
I
awesome.
love Thorkel, and the voice actor who does Thorkel's voice is the same guy who does Blackbeard in
Oh,
One Piece.
yeah.
And
I almost forgot that.
Japanese dub. And just
so good.
What a performer this guy is. Just between Blackbeard and between Thorkel, just an incredible voice actor. It blows my mind every time I just hear him speak. It's just this guttural, it's a very just you really feel when he's upset or pissed or, happy or sad, and knocked Thorkel out of the park. And obviously, I love him as the voice of Blackbeard. Just incredible. But that's really good, guys. I think we kind of, surprisingly, for how quick we we did this in about 30 minutes, kind of covered most of our bases for Vinland Saga,
I think one thing that we didn't mention was that in addition to the theming of revenge, there's also a question that's asked multiple times throughout the season is what makes a warrior, or what is a warrior? Mm-hmm. And Thorfinn he's asked that question multiple times throughout the show.
Right.
And it's kind of battling between what his dad decided, being a warrior is being with people that you love, not unnecessarily killing people, fighting because it's fun, but, putting the people that you care about first. And the second part of Thorfinn's life thus far being, killing people, trying to get stronger so he can battle Askeladd. And even Thorkel, I think the first or second time, or maybe the first time that they meet on the London Bridge, he asks him like, "What is a warrior?" And that, later on in the show, you realize that Thorkel's his uncle, and you see that flashback of Thor's coming back to get his wife and baby. But that's mentioning all that because that's an important philosophical question that we see Thorfinn. I think we see Thorfinn battle throughout the show.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Thorfinn's character is just unquestionably like it's a character that is rooted in both denying what you are and wanting to be better, right? So his dad is sort of the ultimate example of how you try to escape the cycle of death and murder, the things that haunt us. And then Thorfinn becomes sort of this catalyst for what comes next. Like, how do we escape that? But also ends up sucked into it as well. And in that moment in the final couple episodes where Leif is trying to make an appeal to Thorfinn saying, you have to come with me and come back home. But Thorfinn feels as if it has gone too far. He has already he's been broken too much by the nature of war and the world that is at odds now. He can't just go back home. And I think that is, I think that can draw parallels to standard just human existence. Like we struggle with addiction. We struggle with daily issues that can impact our personal lives that make us wrong or right. And we all commit sin and do things that can be problematic. And we have to struggle with the odds of like, do we deserve a happy life anymore after the wars and the crimes we committed? There's a lot of deep philosophy in when you start to tear apart where the dilemma, the moral dilemma that they've placed Thorfinn as a character. And then the author just kind of let him dance in there, like, here's your dad, here's your uncle, here's Askeladd, play around with the ideas of war and who we are and who we're supposed to become, the people we have to be, right? Thorfinn has to maybe become this ultimate warrior. His dad was too, but can he ever do what his dad did and leave it all behind in order to give a better life to the people he cares about? There's great questions there and great deep content there that's just like rich with it's just rich with theme and it's rich with purpose. And I said this to Alyssa when we finished season 1. I said, whoever was responsible for picking where the show started and ended, this is a long running manga. There's much more manga to go. But whoever was responsible for selecting the pace and the way that this show was going to be put together, this season is the most satisfactory. Like, you walk away from the end of this not feeling like any sense of like, oh, that was weird, or like that's not where this needed to end. It was the most satisfactory ending. It was exactly. It felt like its own contained experience. They picked an important thing, which was this idea of Thorfinn overcoming Askeladd, and they gave us the conclusion of that within this season, which is like, if that had been dragged out into the next season, I think it would have been harder to find where to start and end. But knowing that the author already had it ready, they said, okay, we picked this part. Good. Whoever was responsible for that for the animation studio, holy shit, good job. Because you paced a story so freaking well.
I think technically you could blame the manga author because at the end of that portion, he says, this is the end of the prologue. And it's like, it's an intentional, and obviously,
right, but to me, it's like
semi spoilers for next season. But we go straight into a time skip.
Right, assuming I kind of assumed that would happen.
Yeah, we go right into a time skip and pick up with our characters in new positions and new times.
But still, I think that despite the manga author's choice to do that, there was it could have been really easy to botch it and like either pace it too quickly, try to cram that into 12. Even just spreading it out over 24, I think they could have really easily made some episodes drag too much if they weren't thoughtful about how they chose the way we paced it. And saying, we're going to definitely adapt all this in 24 episodes, ensuring they got the right content in. So the anime team at Wit Studio just deserves a lot of props, I think, in choosing where, because it allows you to grapple with the overarching, like, the philosophical questions. It allows you to think about the theming. It allows you to see character development from every main character in this story. It allows you to see beginning. It allows you to see end. It allows you to see characters go all the way to their death, and conclusions for them. I mean, this is a plot that had multiple deaths that were like impactful deaths. Even though we didn't really like Bjorn died, right? God, he did die, right?
Yeah.
Right at the end.
Yeah.
To me, it was like Bjorn was this guy who was just like with Askeladd. Did his death need to matter? I don't know, but like it still hit me. I was still like, oh shit, Askeladd choosing to kill Knut's dude,
King Sven.
No.
Ragnar.
The Ragnar
Ragnar
scene where they make him follow him all the way out into the fucking woods and then like pretty much just murder his ass. Like, what the fuck? Don't even let him say his last words to Canute. Like, what? Like, that did not need to fucking suck so much for me, but it did. Like, the author is able to make inconsequential death. He's able to, in a normal story, we would just wipe it off. Like, oh, another dead guy, another dead body. But almost every drop of death mattered in this series. I mean, yeah, there were still lots of background Vikings that get killed, but even simple ass shit like those. Remember those two guys? They were like on Askeladd's squad. They tried to like descent and like join Thorkel as Thorkel was like rampaging. Even those two
brothers,
guys, like I had a moment. We knew enough about them.
They lived. They lived.
Oh fuck! I didn't even remember if they lived or not.
Are those the two that lived that were like, we're gonna leave?
Fucking brain dead or something though?
Yeah.
Like
he got scared shitless, literally.
He got so fucking
Thorkel
scared.
put the fear of God in it.
Put the fear of God in it, bro. I love that Thorkel turned away and was like, he's already dead. Like,
Thorkel put the fear of God in that boy, yo.
He
put the shit. But no,
I think that the deaths, so those two deaths that you mentioned, I think what made them impactful too was like right after they died, there was like a short but meaningful dialogue that happened between, with Bjorn, between him and Askeladd. Bjorn saying, "I just wanted to be your friend," and Askeladd, admitting you were my only friend.
Right.
Like that was like some impactful shit. I feel like that battle and death was like I felt like it was random, but
he was dying. I think that I don't know if it was clear, but Bjorn was dying. He couldn't survive much longer.
My assumption was that was what it happened.
Yeah, he had taken a fatal blow.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's kind of tough with Vikings because it's like, or with this show, because I think a lot of characters like I always forget like there's no really like doctors in this world.
No,
it's like if you get fucking stabbed through your abdomen, you're just kind of like limping around until you fucking bleed out at this point. Like,
Well, it was also like an honor thing too, with
right.
You needed to die like in battle or die fighting, or you wouldn't get to Valhalla. Like the Valkyries wouldn't take you to Valhalla, so it's also kind of part of like the religious aspect of the culture.
Right.
And I do think there were religious pieces that were caked in. How they think about the Christians. Yeah,
the drunk. What was he? A Catholic or Christian guy who was with them the whole time? Who was always like philosophizing in the corner. Honestly, that motherfucker, that was Dragon's Dogma.
I almost forgot him.
He was that mother. He was Dragon's Dogma. Damn it.
It does. But I mean, that question is posed often. What is love, and what is what happens after you die? I think that, especially with a show about so much death, the fact that they touch on what happens after you die is important.
Yeah, really there were a few episodes of that where they were having like philosophical conversations about religion and like questioning God and.
Oh my god! I forgot about that.
Yeah, there was like a whole scene between Canute and I think it was Ragnar and the priest. I think the three of them were.
Yeah, whenever they're praying after because they slaughter the village, right? They go in and take over the village.
Right, and I think the priest is like he's starting to like question God, and then Canute's like, "What are you doing?" But yeah, I mean, we see a lot of conflict around religion.
This show really crammed in like a lot of shit. Honestly, the more I think of it, I think the hardest part for me actually, and this is the one like I got to knock it a little bit. I think the front half of the show was a little bit slower than I expected it to be. It takes like 6 or 7 episodes to like kind of find its groove. Especially for me, because when Thor's died, I almost just wanted to stop watching it. I was just like,
Yeah.
I was already pissed. I was like, I get it that this is the inciting incident that kind of like leads to the rest of the show, but I was like, everyone else sucks, but Thor's, damn it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It takes a little bit to get started. But once it goes, it fucking goes hard, yo.
Yeah.
The episode where they send Thorfinn ahead to that village, he's like talking to that fucking lady right before the village on fire. That was like a whole moment. I remember Alyssa and I got to that episode, and I think I looked at Alyssa, I said, okay, yeah, I think I'm in. Let's watch the rest of the show, dude.
And also how it was like a grandma and a younger woman, which I guess was the grandmother's granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like drawing a parallel to Thorfinn's mom and sister.
Yep.
And yeah, it was pretty sad. I was also wondering if we were going to see them again in the season, but I guess
maybe
not.
Maybe later.
Maybe next season.
Maybe,
I don't know. Yeah.
Lots of imagery, lots of metaphors. Such a beautifully crafted show. I mean, do we even have? I don't even know if I can talk. This show looked like a fucking anime movie. Like I don't know if I've seen another anime like TV anime that looked as pretty as Vinland Saga when it comes to pure, just the quality and caliber of the animation. Must have been so much work by the team that did that. Like, just incredible. So I think so. I don't know if you guys felt the animation was weak. To me, I think Vinland Saga is maybe one of the best animated TV animes nearly of all time. I think it just was so crisp, very clean background work, such beautiful, crisp art and animation. I'm talking about TV animes because, you know, obviously when you get movie caliber anime, it's tough to compare. But I think when you think about modern TV animes, not a lot have that quality of animation to it, where it's such a sharp 2D animation that, I mean, the fight scenes were incalculable. Like the fight scene where Thorkel's up on the bridge and fucking Thorfinn has to approach on the boat and they get up there and he's fucking chopping fingers up. I can't even put in words like the way that just looks. It just looks sick as fuck. Like
the action sequences were really well done. I the only knock for animation I have is, and because I don't know, I just scope it, I just notice it, I'm like, ew. But there were like random CGI people like in background.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
that's so common in anime.
I know, but I'm like, why? Why is it gotta be common? Just like 2D it up, man. Come on.
It's cheap. I think it's because it's cheap.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense from that perspective, like a financial perspective. But
I agree with you. You're right. There was actually a couple 3D moments in this show. And
it's not that it's like 3D bad, but like I want it to have a purpose, you know, like. Yeah. Like what's the point of random CGI people in the background? I mean, because it's cheap, sure, right. But just that's still right. But that's still like an impact on my at least for me, like from my viewing. Mm-hmm. But like everything else though was very beautiful.
I'm gonna make a T-shirt that just says the Uncensored Anime Podcast. 3D bad.
yes, they CGI
2D good.
Bad. CGI. Hate it.
Listen, that's why I only believe in 2D women. Okay.
Yeah, Kenny's only a waifu kind of guy. Yeah. Waifu or bust, baby.
Lucina in big sweaters.
Lucina is
waifu. Fantastic. Alyssa, do you have any? You've been a little quiet there. What do you think? I mean, I feel like we covered it, but do you feel like we missed anything here?
No, I mean, I don't think I would add anything else, honestly.
Is it one of your favorite animes of all time?
It's definitely up there for sure. I mean, I was even considering putting it in my top 3 earlier.
It's one of mine, I think.
I don't know. I kind of want. I want to see where it goes before I want it to finish. You know.
I think that when this series concludes, right? Finish your thought.
Yeah. That's all I was saying. Just like when it concludes, like I kind of want. I want finished animes in my top 3, you know?
Yeah. Mm. I think when it concludes, it's going to be one of those shows that if the anime studio doesn't switch and we get the rest of this series adapted through to the very end, this is going to be a show that'll stand up there with Brotherhood as like, you know, a very longer running, bigger story, much more larger spectacle of a story, but one that's going to be comparable to that level of caliber. You know, in 10 years. We'll look back, people will say, yeah, Vinland Saga, that was it, you know?
I hope they get the second season out to us pretty soon. I don't know if there's been any notification or information out there about it.
It was supposed to be January 2021, but I think it got pushed.
It's been delayed. Okay, well, damn it. Well, it'll come though. That means it's coming.
Yeah. Sometime next year.
One thing I would like to mention real quick. The way they age characters is really cool. If you look at Askeladd at the beginning of the show, he's young as fuck, and he looks very old by the end. And I like that the characters age. Like all of the characters, and Thorkel. You know, he loses fingers and then gets his eye taken out. Like
he sure does.
You know,
he has actual things that happen to him that make his character actually change.
Look different, yeah.
Look different. That's true. So, damn, that's a good call, Ken.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap it up, guys. You know how we do on the Uncensored Anime Podcast. Right here, with our second special guest, LissyMeYow.
Woo!
Woo! She brought us the opportunity to talk about Vinland Saga, which was such a blast.
We gotta do the rating.
But yes, we need to wrap up Vinland Saga. So David, without further ado, give us our count, my man. You ready to count us out? Oh, he's got to think about his rating.
I got it. All right. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
We got 9.
David went 9. Kenny went 9.
No, this is 8.
Oh, you went 8. Sorry. I forget you
went
double
9.
fours. I went 8.5.
I think 8.
Okay.
9.
Kenny went 9. Alyssa went 9. David went 8. I went 8.5. So we're in a pretty steady 8. This is one of those shows. I mean, anyone listening, I don't know if I have any way to put it except if you have a tough time with this sort of time period type series, give it a shot. And I'll say it again, it takes a bit to pick up steam. You got to get past the first big moment of the show and kind of get into the next steps, into the next episodes, or you're not going to feel very drawn in yet. That's the one, I think it's its one downfall, because once you get to like episode 7 or 8, it's like a speeding bullet train to the end.
Yeah, you're in it.
You just want to see these characters. It becomes, again, just a great character-driven plot. And it's just so beautifully animated and just so well done for a TV anime series. Deserves a lot of love and attention. What a hell of a show Vinland Saga is. I'd go watch it again right fucking now. Well, boys and girl.
Are we going to have watch parties, by the way?
We should. That'd be fun.
Have watch party.
Live watch party with the Uncensored Anime Podcast. If you guys want that, give us a like, comment, and subscribe in the sections below. If you've made it almost an hour and a half into our amazing, 8th podcast that we've done, or if you've enjoyed any of our other podcasts, then please hit us with a like, comment, subscribe. Come talk to us over on Instagram. We will always try to respond and get back with you. We really enjoy interacting with those people who like anime because obviously we fucking love anime. So maybe we'll do some live watch parties. Obviously, if we hit 1,000 subscribers, we will all be watching Vampire Night, and Kenny will be doing a full live watch through. He'll be Twitch streaming his entire watch through of Vampire Night.
If we hit 1,000 subscribers, I will cosplay as Zero for an entire episode.
You hear that, guys? Look at all that. If we were to ever,
I'll do it.
Even if it takes 2 years, 3 years, when it happens, Vampire Night is
coming to you guys.
It will happen, boys.
Get these 1,000 subscribers.
I will get full wig. I'll get the gun. I'll get it all.
Bring in the subscribers.
Pay for the subscribers.
But yes, we are so grateful to keep having people coming back and listen. I hope you really enjoyed our analysis tonight. We had a lot of fun breaking apart 2 high fantasy style shows on 2 very deep ends of the spectrum. What a blast it is to talk about these shows. But everyone, you know what time it is. If you've been watching the Uncensored Anime Podcast, you know that at the end of each episode, our resident, I would say, anime guru in some ways, our resident, I watch anything, anime man, I will literally watch trash, Kenneth Stinnett himself is going to wade through another series, and he's going to unravel it for us and tell us why this anime should have ended long before it did. So, Kenny, take it away. What are we talking about tonight?
This week, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite mangas of all time, I think. And that's Eyeshield 21, okay? Eyeshield 21
a sports manga.
This is my first sports manga, okay? The whole point of sports mangas is about accomplishing a goal, okay? You got to win the Christmas Bowl in Eyeshield 21. But guess what? The main antagonists of the show, you know, the ones that you care about, they beat them earlier than they fight in the Christmas Bowl. They beat them in the semifinals. in the manga. I'm pretty sure in the anime they actually changed it. And then they fight they go against the Shinryuji Dragons, and they're supposed to be actually the best team. They're the Shoujo White Knights or the Seibu. No, I don't remember the name. This is one of my favorite mangas, and I don't remember the name. The White Knights, they beat them so early, and then they go to the Christmas Bowl, and guess what? They play against the real Eyeshield 21, the dude from Notre Dame. But then guess what? They don't even end there. They then do an all-star lineup international football competition, and they bring back the American footballers from early in the show, and then they just gloss over all the other football teams, and then they're like, okay, we're going against the American team now. And we have this crazy all-star cast of all of the guys we've already beat. It's just Eyeshield is drawn so well, and it is so amazing in manga form, and it maybe should have ended a little earlier than it did. And it just sort of kept going.
Now, Kenny, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that when Eyeshield was wrapping up, it's because most sports manga always set if you're a fan of sports anime or manga, you know that at the beginning of the show, there's always this we're gonna win the national tournament, or we're gonna
go to Kosho
in worlds. Every sports anime manga sets that tone from episode 1. And then it follows through on that, hopefully by the end of the series. And when Eyeshield finished that, I think Eyeshield was at its highest popularity ratings-wise. I'm trying to remember, but I'm pretty sure that Eyeshield had just kind of hit its peak as popularity goes around. So when they actually wrapped up their big thing,
when they win the Christmas Bowl,
it was shit, we got to do something.
They just kept going.
Said we got to do
more tournaments,
and so all they had left was I guess America.
It was an international tournament.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite. Diversion from when a show goes too long. This one was fuck America. We can just go to America. They play football in America, right?
They call it American football. The whole thing.
Yeah.
Eyeshield is so well drawn. Yusuke Murata is one of the most talented manga artists in the world, and I reanimate Eyeshield. Remake Eyeshield.
Come on, if you're listening, Animation
remake
Studios,
Eyeshield.
I need Eyeshield. Yes, it is the age of the
remake
redo.
Eyeshield.
It's Eyeshield time, baby. I would love that. I want that, and I want Reborn, Kenny.
Oh yeah, I'd like to. And we didn't even get the last arc of Reborn.
Yeah, they never finished Reborn. That's why I want them to do it again, so we can.
I could do Reborn next week.
Wait, what if they do 1,000-year war for
Reborn?
For Reborn.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
It was a pretty cool arc too. I really liked it.
Alyssa, what'd you think about your first
live Unravel? You just watched a man trail off into the oblivions, into the depths of his manga-based brain. He had
what is happening to you?
He was like that meme from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where it's Charlie and he's like all the strings are going all the different places. I feel like that's Kenny every
Kenny unraveling,
trying to unravel or trying to put the pieces back together of the unraveled anime.
Alyssa, what's the guy? What's the person's name that Charlie when he's trying to find the person?
There's the person. Just watched that.
Yeah, I know. There's the person that he thinks still works there, and he realizes they don't. He's like, the mail keeps coming in, and it just keeps coming. And I try to take it. I took it to the first office, and
I don't care that much.
It's so freaking funny. Kenny is that guy every time he's watching. He's watching a new anime. He's like, and this is how it trails and descends.
And I mean, I store an enormous amount of manga information that is totally unimportant to my daily life in my head. I don't know why.
Yep.
It's just there.
Accurate.
Yep.
You never know when life will need random anime knowledge.
That's true.
So.
It's like I read about anime a lot. I learn things about them without ever actually watching them. Kenny just watches everything he can. It's like if he hasn't watched it yet, he says, no, I don't know what that is. But if he's seen it, he knows it top to bottom, dude. He's like, oh yeah, I know that show where they get trapped in another world, they turn into slime, and they fucking eat each other, and they fight goblins, and they get attacked.
There's one isekai, Remonster, which I think is one of the biggest isekais. And it's never been made. He in another world as a goblin. He shows up as a goblin, but then he he levels up. Whenever he hits level 100, he turns into a new creature.
Oh my god.
But it's
my rambling just got you on a random anime. You literally said, whoop, you said, I saw that one actually.
it's one that is like really popular. So I'm
telling you, it's the Charlie meme. He's like, this anime.
God damn it. Okay. Wow, what a great episode. This was a lot of fun, guys. Yes, we had a couple internet issues, but that is never a big deal here on the Uncensored Anime Podcast.
It's typical at this point.
And we're wrapping it up right on time. So let's go ahead and tell them what we're doing next week, because next week is very, very special. Next week's super special because we are going to be doing our fall 2020 anime first impressions, guys. So me, Kenny, and David will be back, but this time we will not be watching any specific series. Instead, we are watching the first episode of 13 brand new anime series. And because we're saying brand new, that means we will not be watching any season 2s, any like return, so we're not watching Yashahime. That won't be on our list because that's a continuation. It's the Boruto of Inuyasha.
I already watched it.
I know, but we won't be reviewing it yet. Is what I'm saying.
Of course you did, Kenny.
We might, yeah, of course you did, Kenny.
I'm interested in Yashahime. Okay?
No, we won't be watching. What is it? What comes back this season? Isn't it
Log Horizon?
Or no, it's the dungeon one. Kenny, try to pick up.
Yeah.
I think that's coming back. There's a lot of shows that are coming back for another season. We're gonna ignore those shows because we want people to watch our first impressions and to say, okay, yes, this is a new show that I can jump in right now and be involved in that. I want to go watch that new show. So here's a list of the 13 animes that you need to watch this week so that you can join us next week. So go watch the first episode so you can hear our first impressions, or actually don't go watch the first episodes. Listen to our first impressions next week, and then you might want to know whether or not you want to try this show out yourself.
We're trying to watch some trash.
We have compiled quite a good list of both hit shows, what I would say are upcoming hit shows, and some non-hit shows, some shows that are kind of
as I like to call shit shows.
Shit shows. So here's our list for next week.
Kenny Patton right there.
And feel free to chime in as I go through the list here, boys and girl, if you guys think anything of this.
How many do you think I've already read?
I think Kenny's read almost all of them or heard of them.
No, I think it's only like 3 or 4.
The first one is a show called Hypnosis Mike. It's called like Rhyme Battle Academia or something like that.
I've never heard that.
It is a rap battle focused anime. It will be airing simulcast onto Funimation. So if you would like to go check that one out, Hypnosis Mike on Funimation. Next,
that sounds dope as fuck, actually.
Yeah, I know. I'm really curious. The character, I'm imagining like an idol show, but with rappers. I don't know. So, Alyssa, I hope you're excited for that one. No,
all of these, pretty much every show that these guys watch, I'm also watching because I live with one of them. I'm married to one of them.
Only
he makes me. Help me, please.
Alyssa,
I'm trapped.
Alyssa had to cancel. She had to stop from watching Log Horizon. She said no more.
Yeah, I think out of all the shows we talked about, Log Horizon and Dragons Dookie Sandwich were the only ones that were bad.
Alyssa and I dropped Banana Fish, and we did watch all Tower God.
Oh, yeah, we did drop Banana Fish.
Oh, and Tower God, yeah.
Yeah, Tower God.
I like Banana Fish, though.
I know. Kenny and David liked it and gave it good scores. Alyssa and I couldn't.
We were just like... I was like falling asleep. I couldn't. I was falling asleep during Tower God, too.
Yeah, I like I don't know.
That's understandable.
Not my thing.
Yikes, Tower God. Yeah. Okay, second anime we'll be watching for our first impressions is Ikebukuro Westgate Park. That's going to be available on Funimation. I believe it's sort of a drama. I'm not sure. I don't know much about it.
I've heard
Seems
of
to be
one.
pretty popular, so that should be an exciting first one. The next one is called Akudama Drive. I legitimately have no idea what this show is about. It'll be simulcast onto Funimation and Hulu, according to the internet, so you should be able to watch it on either of those streaming services. The next one is called Talentless Nana. Seems to be some sort of slice of life type show about a young girl who has no talents named Nana. And that's going to be available on Funimation as well. So we did pick a lot of Funimation shows, but we also picked a lot of Crunchyroll shows, which I will get into now. And then we are going to be watching the new anime for Dragon Quest, Dino Daiboken. That's going to be available on Crunchyroll and Hulu, actually. And yes, all of us here know about Dragon Quest. And if you don't know what Dragon Quest is, viewers, it is a old game that is from Japan. It has many, many, many iterations. There's, I want to say like 10 of them, maybe 11, something like that.
11, I think.
Pretty popular show. Also has a character represented in the Smash Brothers universe. So I'm excited to watch Dragon Quest. That should be a lot of fun. And then we've got Iwa Kakeru Sport Climbing Girls.
that will be on Crunchyroll. That is absolute. Absolute dirty weeb trash. Alyssa and I watched the trailer, and there's a
I'm ready to dive in the dumpster. I'm like,
there's
let's go in.
So many shots in the trailer of just like women's crotches. Like it's like they like stretch their leg out to like put their foot like on the next rock, and it's just like right in their vagina, dude.
What was the name of the anime a few years ago that was about? It's like the same thing, but the premise was it was like they were battling
with their butts.
Oh yeah, the butts one.
It had like a ton of exclamation points.
We watched a little bit of it. Alyssa and I watched a couple episodes.
Yeah,
it's about girls who like fight with their asses. Yeah. Honestly, they had like ass blaster attacks. Dude,
hey, rock climbing is cool.
Okay, I'm curious to see where rock climbing goes. We'll see. So Iwakakeru, sport climbing girls. Then we're watching a show called Adachi and Shimamura. I believe it's also a drama. I'm not really sure about the plotting of that. That's going to be available on Funimation as well, simulcasted. Then we're going to be watching Moriarty.
Keijo.
Keijo, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Then we're going to be watching Moriarty the Patriot, which is also available on Funimation. This one I want to say, has a bit of a historical drama aspect to it. I'm really excited about it. The art and animation looks really clean on this show. Moriarty the Patriot. Then we've got Tonikawa, which I believe is, something about like two people who fall in love. So I think it's a romance.
I'm excited about that one.
It's airing on Crunchyroll, so simulcast on Crunchyroll if you would like to catch that show. Next, we have our isekai of this list, which is I'm Standing on a Million Lives. I just know it's an isekai, but it looks really lame. I'm so ready to watch it. That's going to be also on Crunchyroll. I'm Standing on a Million Lives. I don't know the Japanese name. And then we've kind of got, in my opinion, the two big dogs of this season, or the ones people are going to be looking at most, I think. That's Jujutsu Kaisen, which is a Shonen Jump manga that's finally getting a faithful anime adaptation. That's going to be over on Crunchyroll as well. It's so Shonen, classic Shonen, essentially. I think it's got sort of a spirits theme or something, right? There's like spirits. Yeah. So, yeah. And then we've got Noblesse, which is, I believe, a comedy Shonen type. It's a webtoon adaptation, and it's about like a young man who's like a reincarnation of a god who like has to go to high school. It looks interesting. It completes the trifecta of like webtoons that Tower of God and God of High School started. So Noblesse, we have to watch it, and we'll probably be giving you a full review in the future, just like we have a God of High School review coming up very soon. Now that season has completed, we'll hopefully be getting that on an episode soon. And then we will be ending our marathon through new shows with a show called Our Last Crusade. I think it also has some isekai elements as well. So Our Last Crusade is our third show. Oh, and if I didn't mention Noblesse and Jujutsu Kaisen, those are all Crunchyroll. And then Our Last Crusade is Funimation and Hulu. So it's about half and half. About half of them are on Crunchyroll this season. About half are on Funimation. On our list of 13. Maybe we're a little bit more leaning into the Funimation zone. Seems like Funimation picks out... Crunchyroll has a lot of returning shows. Funimation seems to be picking up some of the lesser known shows, and we wanted to watch some of those for this first impressions video we'll be doing next week. So if you want to join us and watch all of those shows, then go ahead, watch the first episode of all those. We'll be giving you our first impressions. We're not going to watch past the first episode, so when we give our first impressions, it's just going to be episode 1. We don't want to talk about episode 2 and 3, which for a couple of these shows will be out by the time that episode airs, but we'll just be talking about episode 1 of each of the 13 shows. And we're going to be talking about the anime movie Burn the Witch, which if you've listened to any episode of the Uncensored Anime Podcast, we've pretty much been talking about since episode 1. The anime film did drop. We will be reviewing that at the front half of the episode next week, and then we will be going over our first impressions of the other 13. It should be an absolute blast and hopefully a very entry-friendly episode, so if you join us next week, it'll be a great episode for you to jump in as your first episode if you've never listened to us before, because we're going to be talking about new stuff that really doesn't have anything else. And then we're going to be picking 3 of these shows to watch and give updates on throughout the rest of the summer. Jesus Christ, it's not the summer. Throughout the rest of the winter and fall. Fall and winter. Jesus Christ.
We should do like a draft pick.
Yeah. Once we pick our 3 next week, we are going to continue on and talk about these episodes. Whether it's weekly, we kind of have a recap about them every week, or if we just kind of do a big review on them at the end of the season. At least 3 we're going to try to follow through and watch weekly for the rest of the season, while the other 10 are going to get trashed. Kenny will probably watch all 13. David might watch a couple more, but knowing my ass,
I might watch all 13.
Yeah, I'll probably drop like half of these. I already expect literally some of them. I'll say it right now. I don't think that Alyssa and I can stomach however long Iwakekeru sport climbing girls is.
I'm for sure watching all of that.
As much as I want to watch girls' vaginas climb up rock walls for 20 minutes every week, I just don't know if we're sticking to that one. That one just might have to go.
I don't know if I'm here for it.
We'll have to see.
They're likable. I don't know.
2D girls with abs are hot.
Okay, boys, so that's all we got. That's what we're doing next week on the Uncensored Anime Podcast. I hope you've enjoyed everything that we've done here. Like I always say, you can like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you like. Me and the boys are just trying to bring you some uncensored anime content. And we had my beautiful wife, Alyssa. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I know you have pretty much been watching every show with us every week, so good to hear some of your perspectives and opinions here on the cast, especially on Dragons Dogma and Vinland Saga, which I know were two very stark differences of shows for you and me as experiences go. So thank you guys so much for listening. As David has told me before, I should just be the final word each week. So thank you so much for listening. We're closing this up. And with that, boys, let's tell them what's up. Peace.
See ya.